Hi, fundraising family. Welcome back to the channel. I am so jazzed about my conversation today. You can see it is not just me. I have a friend in the house, a fellow Minnesotan in the house. This is Amy Gallagher, and she is the event planner for the Pinky Swear Foundation, which I called the Perfect Gala. If you have not seen my video on the Perfect Gala, I suggest you watch that first and then come back to this video because we're going to be diving deep into their gala and how it worked behind the scenes. And I'm going to leave a link to that video down below, and also it shows up somewhere up here. I never know which side because when you edit the video, it flips around. So we're going to dive right in. If you have any more questions for Amy, please leave them down below in the comment section, and I will do my best to have Amy answer them or answer them myself. But let's welcome Amy from Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota. Amy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. We've had a ton of people that have came to us with questions about watching your channel, so I'm just really excited to be here and answer some questions and just kind of talk all things galas.
Yeah, let's do it. Your gala has gotten so many questions. People have emailed me personally, called me personally. What did they do? So I really appreciate the time that you guys are taking. All right, let's dive right in. And you guys are going to see me looking down because I wrote down all the questions in advance. So we could really get to the meat of this. Okay, tell me about the decision to go virtual. How fast did you make the decision? And who helped you make the decision?
Okay, so we kind of right when COVID was kind of starting, we were learning everything was shutting down. We had like a meeting just with our internal team and our two committee chairs and just kind of went over all the things about galas, safety, how our families would feel, and we decided to give ourselves a couple weeks just so we could kind of figure out what was going on in the world. And then we made our decision the first week of April to go virtual.
Okay.
So we kind of gave ourselves a little bit of time. We just decided, let's make this decision and to go with it. Like, we're going to make this an awesome virtual gala, and we're going to commit all of our time to switching it to a virtual event and giving our viewers and guests the best experience that they could while still connecting them to our mission and our foundation. So yeah, we started right away. April just went right for it and switched everything, let our committee members know, let our sponsors know, and went from there.
And how long did you have to pull off this virtual gala?
So yeah, first week of April, and our event was May 16th. So we had about 6 weeks.
So you had about 6 weeks. So fast, super duper fast.
Super fast. Yeah, everything moved really fast. It was a lot of hours put in by everyone on the team, but everybody just pulled their weight, and I felt like we really had a great event, and everyone kind of came through on their end on everything they had to work on.
I agree. I think you had a phenomenal event. I was crying watching it, which I think is the goal for every virtual gala, is to give people emotion while they sit at home in front of their computer or on the couch. And you totally achieved that goal.
Thank you.
Let's talk about who you hired. Like, what kind of vendors did you hire, if any? Like, what kind of technology did you use to get you started with this?
Okay. So the only really company that we used for our bidding software was Qtago, who we've actually worked with for a couple of years. We used them in North Carolina as well. They were great to work with. They were very supportive, and they just kind of helped us with any questions that we had. Obviously, there was a ton of questions moving this to virtual, and we had planned an in-person event with them, and they were just very helpful, answered all of our questions, did many meetings with me just so I felt like comfortable on our decision. And then we used Blue 42 as our production company. And so they're based out of Maple Grove, Minnesota, and we use them, and they were wonderful.
And when you say they're your production company, explain to me, like, were they just video editors? Did they come out and shoot certain things? Like, what did they do for you?
So they actually produced our whole program. And they, since nobody could be going to anybody's houses at that time, everything, and you see our video was at our homes. So they actually sent microphones to everybody's houses and did sort of a Zoom platform like this, but we had just our MC on the screen and the person that he was interviewing. So it was not live as it looks like it is. So everything was done at their homes. We did not have any live aspect to our video except the ticker at the bottom.
That counted the interesting. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
I did not know that. All right. So
yep.
Your whole event was pre-recorded and made to sound live, even though it wasn't live, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ah, interesting. Okay, so when I watched it, I thought it was hybrid. I thought part of it was live and part of it was pre-recorded. But I love the fact that you did it all pre-recorded. That is actually what I preach to my viewers all the time. Like, do
Mm-hmm.
it pre-recorded,
Yes.
but you can make it sound like it's live. I totally was fooled. Let's talk about the ticker at the bottom. So that was a Qtego function, I'm
Yes.
assuming. Or,
Yep.
okay, it was. And
Yep.
when gifts came in, they showed up live on the screen.
Yep,
Tell
they
me more
did. So
about that.
they worked with our production company Blue 42, and they just had a link in there. So every time that our data was entered, then the money kept going up on the screen. So
Wow.
you can see that. You can see it kind of at the middle. It stays the same a little bit. We had a little bit of a glitch, and then it was something, and then it just
And then
shows how it goes up. Yep.
and it shoots up totally.
Yep.
Which is
Because I think
something.
it goes from like 12,000 to like 60 or
Yeah,
something.
it
So,
does.
yeah.
Which is interesting because I was like, whoa, there's a big gift. Like
Yeah.
here it
But
comes.
it was great to see because we've never done anything like this before. So it was just really fun to experience the whole thing. And I thought Blue 42 did a great job.
Yes,
All of
they
our
did.
people that were involved did a great job. Eric Perkins from one
Carolina.
of our Minnesota news channels was involved, and he did a great job as the MC. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. Okay. Can I ask you what was your production budget for this? Like how much everyone's wanting to know, like how much should I spend? What did I spend? You can give us a rough estimate? Like what did you spend on production for this gala?
Mm-hmm. So Blue 42 is actually one of our partners. So our value of it would have been about 25,000. But they actually are one of Pinky Swear's partners. So that was all of an in-kind donation.
Unbelievable. Okay, so
Yeah.
but for anybody who's watching at home, to get the kind of production quality that you got, it would cost you around $25,000.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
Did you stream this publicly? Like, was it on Facebook and YouTube for everyone originally, or was it streamed privately?
This was completely public. So we have streamed it to our Facebook Live. And then we also had a link to our website just for those viewers that don't have Facebook or don't have social media. So they actually could watch from our website as well. And we pushed this out to as many people as possible. So our board members, all of our past guests, people that were registered this year, our youth leadership council, they pushed it out to all their family and friends. All of our organization in North Carolina, they pushed it out. Sorry, I gotta go start over for a second.
Go ahead.
So, I'll start over.
I'll start again.
Okay.
Did you stream this publicly or did you stream this privately?
Okay, so we actually, this was a public event. We streamed it to our Facebook Live, and we had watch parties, and then we also streamed it to our website, and there was a link on there for those people that are not on social media, so they could still watch it at home. And we pushed it out to as many people as possible, and we also had people sign up early, so we were able to kind of let them know what time it was starting at, get them ready. So we were able to text them with our Qtego and go from there, and just kind of let them know, okay, program's starting at 5:30. You got 10 minutes left, get ready, just so people were aware, and we kept them engaged throughout the day.
I love that. And that's kind of the best part of having one of these technology platforms is I think the texting, like
Yes.
getting messages on your phone, like don't forget. I mean, it's so great to have those kind of reminders because life gets busy. I love Qtego. I work with them all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that. Where did you have the most viewers, on Facebook or on your webpage?
Facebook.
Do you know how many you had at one given time, like your max watch?
No.
That's okay. I'm just
sorry.
curious. I wonder like the metrics that people track for these galas because if
It is tracked, and I can ask our marketing person that.
It's no big deal.
And I can let you know.
Oh, okay, perfect. We'll leave it down below.
Okay. Okay.
Let's talk about your all-star families. They were so tight and their message was so on point. It was so clean. Were they scripted? And if so, who wrote the script?
So all the all-star families that filmed in their homes, that was all them on their own. We just asked them to say their name, their child's diagnosis, how Pinky Swear has affected them, and how their child is doing now. And those were all families that Pinky Swear has helped in the past, and I just thought they did such a good job. I mean, they the families were amazing. Every family that was on there, I mean, it's incredible. So they all did a wonderful job, and it was just very moving, and they were right to the point, but it also let viewers know like how Pinky Swear has affected their family and how important our foundation is.
Completely. I actually thought they were scripted. I love the fact that they weren't, but I think the big takeaway here for any of you watching at home who want to do something similar is Amy gave them questions to answer. So they all had a very similar format and they all got to the heart of it, like the diagnosis and how they have been helped, which is really like the meat of what the Pinky Swear Foundation does, which is helps family in times of deep, deep crisis of illness with their family. And so don't just like tell people make a video at home. Give them questions to answer, just like Amy did, because it comes out so much better. Plus, you had the microphones at home, right? Which was awesome. Mm-hmm. So the sound quality it wasn't all garbled and bad.
Actually, the All Stars did not have microphones. They just that was on their phones.
Really? Okay. Yep. Well, so and they shot on their phones, right?
Yep.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah, you just have to make sure they're filmed horizontally.
So it fills the screen.
Remind everybody that. But yeah, they did that all on their own, which was great.
Unbelievable. Amazing. Mm-hmm. I'm so impressed. This is, by the way, like everything I preach. So it's so good for everyone watching to hear it in like reality that it actually worked. Okay. Around the 13-minute mark, you had like a really highly produced video piece. Was this created for your 2020 gala ahead of time? Was this something old from a 2019 or 2018 gala? Tell me more about that piece.
So that video was actually produced by Oak and Glen. It's a production company in Minnesota. And this was also an in-kind donation. So that video is probably like $8,000 to $10,000 value.
It was gorgeous.
This was actually all filmed pre-COVID. Beginning of January, we had our whole marketing campaign for the whole year. So this was filmed before. So that was going to be our gala video no matter what.
Okay, I figured.
Yep. And so we already had all those families in there. So nothing was filmed, when we were supposed to be at home. That was all pre-done, pre-COVID. And that was a great production. And I think just the video really showcases the importance of our foundation. But also I think it's really interesting that since we filmed that before COVID and then seeing how we've affected families, how important it is right now for us to help families. I think it was really interesting that all those points in that video are really, really, really relevant now.
I very much agree. And for all of you at home who are planning a gala for the fall and you can't get production to do, like a big, beautiful production, feel free to repurpose your video from the 2019 gala, 2018 gala. I have this saying that no one really remembers your gala except for the people. Let me rephrase that. No one remembers your gala video other than the people who made it. So you can re-show it and it'll still be equally as good. Like no one remembers those 3 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. Did you hit your fundraising goal with this gala?
We did. Yep. So we actually netted the same as we did in our 2019 gala.
That is so amazing. Such great news. And it also speaks to the truth that virtual galas can be successful when done well and when you focus on, like you guys did, you focused on one thing, and that was what you do and how it affects people. You focused on stories. Tell me about the format of this virtual gala versus the format of your live gala. Were they similar? Were they totally different? Like, how did you decide to put in your virtual what you did?
Yep. So we wanted to for sure play our gala video, and then we wanted to keep our MC the same. Eric Perkins is our MC either way. And then we wanted to still have our co-chairs talk, which we had on there. Mary and Nancy, they're both our co-chairs. They have been for the last 2 years. We wanted them on there, just kind of sharing how important the mission is to them as well and why they got involved. I think a big portion of what we kept was why. Like, why am I involved in Pinky Swear? What does Pinky Swear mean to me? And also we always, Erica Campbell, our executive director, she spoke, and I thought her story was really nice. And she also did a really good job explaining how Pinky Swear was started, because we had a lot of new viewers. We had 20 states this year that watched our gala. So there's a lot of people out there that didn't know about Pinky Swear. So going back to that original Pinky Promise with Mitch and his dad, I think was really important as well.
I think so too. For anyone not familiar with the Pinky Swear Foundation who's watching this, explain when you say we had 20 states watch and donate. Explain what that means to people who are brand new
Okay.
to you.
Yep. So we actually, with putting our gala online, we were able to have anybody watch it nationwide. So we were able to track where our donations came from, and we had donations from 20 states versus just Minnesota this year, because our event is usually just in Minnesota. So we had 20 states donate.
I mean, that just speaks to the power of having a public event, a free event, and you can get your organization in front of so many more people, and 20 more states. That's almost half the country you got viewership
Yeah,
in.
it was incredible. Yep.
Then, and by the way, that's just the donations that came in. The views of their gala are probably from nationwide. So just the donations came in from 20 states. You mentioned that you had guests sign up early so you could text them reminders with the Qtego text function. How
Yep.
did you get the guests to sign up early?
So what we did was we sent out an email kind of letting people know our gala was going virtual. We did that in April, kind of right after we made the decision, and had talked to our sponsors, and then sent out an email to all of our guests, let them know we were going virtual. This is the day it's going to be, same time, same date. So they knew that. They had that on their calendars. And then we sent them the link to register on Qtego. So we actually let them register early. So we had our silent auction up for 3 weeks before. So that was 3 weeks they could register. They could bid, they could see the items that they were going to have on there. And once they registered on Qtego, that's where you get the texting capability, which I think was really helpful, especially in the spring, because people were getting so many emails. They were doing distance learning. There was so much online. You were on your computer all the time. So I think just having that phone there to be able to contact them, the communication was really important. And I think that was really beneficial to us. So we were able to text them, just kind of, oh, look, we got a new auction item in, or here we got a Louis Vuitton bag or donated or something like that. So just to keep the excitement going as well, which I think is really important, because we actually had a ton of people sign up the first day, and then we did incentives. So every week we had a drawing for a certain item every Friday.
If you were signed up.
If you were signed up. Yep. So every Friday for those 3 weeks we had an incentive. So their name were drawn, and then they got to get an item.
Oh, I love that. I love that incentive. You do have to check, for anyone watching at home, you do have to check your local laws and restrictions with online drawings and rules. But what they did in California would not qualify as a raffle. So it would be totally illegal because they're not selling any raffle tickets. So in California, it's totally legal. I don't know auction law.
Yeah, because there was nothing, they weren't paying anything, and Correct. It was just, their name was randomly drawn out of a number.
Yes. So check your local and state rules. But I love that you offered incentives for people to register early. And I also love that you had everybody register through Qtego. I see so many organizations that have people like register on their website and then send them a follow-up email. Now register for our online bidding platform. If you can, do what Amy and her team did. Keep it like all in one spot. Make it super easy for your donors. Don't make them jump through 3 hoops. Make them sign up one time. And I love this, the method that you used. How many people did you push this out to? Was it just your the people who got the invites last year? Was it everyone who came? Was it everyone who donated? Or is it just the whole Pinky Swear mailing list? Tell me about that.
So we started with the whole Pinky Swear mailing list. So we did that right away at first, minus just kind of like some of the people that had just been to our North Carolina one, just because they had just been to an event in February. So, we don't want to push it out too much to people. And then those kind of were just like individual emails. And then they were getting the emails later, but we just it was the whole Pinky Swear mailing list. And then every week we sent out another one, just kind of letting them know what was going on at Pinky Swear, what was new with our gala, what new items we had. And we kept getting more people registered. And we also asked our board, our committee, our youth leadership council. And we really, really relied on our gala committee, who was just amazing. And they did such a great job pivoting this event to virtual. They were incredible. So we really relied on them to push it out to all their friends, because they were the ones that were usually at the tables at the event. So we used them to push it out to all their friends, and they did a great job.
I mean, you guys, I think you covered every base. And, I just met Amy today, but we've been emailing for a couple weeks. I just can't give you enough kudos for the job that you did. You really thought through everything like really, really well from the donor point of view. It was just the whole thing is pretty much flawless.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what did you offer? Let's go to sponsors for a minute. What did you offer? So you obviously had sponsors for your gala. When you had to have call them and say, "Hey, we're going virtual," how did you translate the benefits that they got as sponsors live to virtual? How'd you do that?
So we contacted each sponsor individually and let them know that we were going virtual. We actually kind of walked the decision with them just because some of our sponsors are high level sponsors and we want them to really feel involved in our decision, which is super important, I think. And we offered them a spot, the top sponsors a spot in our program, which you saw. There was a couple like sponsor callouts and then there were sponsor commercials. And then we did a ton of social media and social media takeover with them the weeks leading up to it.
Tell me more about the social media takeovers.
So for the social media takeovers, we had an all-star, or we took over their social media for that company, or they took over ours. And it was just a really good way to kind of counteract each other and showcase their product or their company and also show why they are involved in our organization, which is really important to those companies.
I love that. Let's talk about your silent auction. It was open 3 weeks prior to the event. How did you organize your silent auction?
So our silent auction, all the items that we already had pre-COVID. So they were already all set. All the baskets were ready. We did have to kind of collect some like little items that needed to go here and there. But everything was, we're a time where we were in complete quarantine. So it was just really strange, like making all these baskets and figuring everything out. But so what we did was we had all of our silent auctions that were gift cards or certificates were where they could be mailed nationwide. Anything that was a basket had to be local pickup, just because with shipping and all that kind of stuff, we did Minnesota pickup only. And since it was 3 weeks, we got a ton of traction at the beginning. People were just like, especially like the alcohol, people were like bidding on like crazy.
Of course.
I mean, they were going for so much. So it was just great to see how many people were like ready to bid right away. And then at the end of the night on the 16th, like the last hour, it was crazy. Like Target gift card was going for like $350, a $50 gift card.
Wow. And how did you organize pickup during a quarantine? Like, did you do a McDonald's drive-through style?
I did. So it was just me because we only could have one person in the office at a time. So it was me, and I actually did curbside pickup for the auction items. So they would come up to the front spot, tell me their name, and I would go in and get their item and bring it out to them with gloves and a mask on.
And was it just one day? Did you say we're doing pickup on
one
day?
I did one day, and then there was still some people that hadn't picked up just with, life and things that are going on. So then I did a second day, and then we were good. And we mailed out everything else that could have been mailed.
Amazing. That's one of the hardest things about as we get deeper into this quarantine is how do you it's just another layer of your silent auction that wasn't there before. Instead of at the end of the night, everyone picks everything out. Now it's like you have to take a whole nother day or 2 days to be the pickup person. And that's just more staff time and more staff hours, but it was definitely worth it for you. Did your silent auction do better? The same?
It did about the same as the year before, which was great.
Good.
Yeah, it was, and especially because we talked about live auctions, we didn't do a live auction, so all of our live auction items had to move to silent. And then we also had to take some out just because some of them were like experiences that were for spring or summer. And I thought it did really well considering, when you're in a live auction setting, like the energy is just there and people are like bidding like for crazy amounts of money. We still made it quite a bit on a lot of those items that would have been live. So that was really promising to see as well. So I think that the energy is out there and people do want to help at virtual galas, which is great.
I totally agree. Let's dig into Qtego for a minute. How did guests watch and bid at the same time?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. That's one that I've got a ton. So we actually, since we did have people texting on their phones, we had that connection with them texting. We had a link on there. We would text them a link to donate here. So they were able to bid on their phone and watch on their computer. And we did send out an email before letting them know, like, the best way to do that would be to use your phone and then stay on your computer.
Got it.
So they weren't like going back and forth because we didn't want to take them away from the program at all, just because I think some of those moments in there are so powerful for them to see.
So powerful.
So that was great that we, and our marketing director, Josh, he actually thought of that. So that was great.
Yeah, that's a question I get all the time, and it's either like you have to open up a second window, or if you're watching it on your TV, right? You're doing like AirPlay or
Mhm.
whatever. You
Yep.
you just are watching it on one device and bidding on another, but it didn't seem to deter any of your donors at all. And I would encourage all of you to follow in the Piggy Sawyer Foundation's footsteps and really just go for it. Like your donors want to help. They don't care if they have to pick up another device. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I watch Netflix or whatever at night, I'm surfing the internet half the time. I
Right.
already have a device in my hand, so
Yep.
there's nothing new there. Um, what has been some of this one is something I didn't ask you in advance or let you know. So this is going to be off the cuff. What has been some of the feedback and the reactions post gala that you got from either your donors or your sponsors or anybody else in the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the night that actually happened, we had like so many of our board members calling Erica, like telling her that was the best thing they've ever seen. They just were so moved. They were all crying at home. They were just couldn't believe the power of the story and how much it carried into a virtual event, which I think is really amazing because sometimes when you're in that room and you're feeling like that energy and that emotion,
Yeah.
there's nothing really comparable to it. But I think that this program and that video that of the All Stars, I mean, I think it just turned the virtual event even better. Like people were sitting at home watching it and they just couldn't believe the impact that Pinky Swear Foundation has on these children and their families.
I I definitely agree. I was definitely moved. Um, and just out of curiosity, how many calls have you gotten or emails since I put out the video on your gala about your gala?
I probably still get like at least 5 a week, at least.
That's amazing.
And at the beginning, like the first couple months, there was a ton. And then actually in the last like month, I think I've gotten, I don't know, probably like 30 to 40 because I think people are in that cycle of they were going to have a live event in the fall and now they're realizing they can't.
Yeah.
So they're going to virtual. And I think that, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that people need. It's really, I watched a ton of virtual galas in those 6 weeks when I had to go virtual. Like, what should we do? What should we not do? And I think that stuff like this is really helpful because it makes me see what other people are doing. What can I do from there? How can that benefit our organization? What can we do differently? And I think this is just kind of really helpful.
Well, I'm sorry for filling up your email box and your
No, it's great.
voicemail.
I mean, and like I said before, I mean, some of these people have came back with great things that they're doing that I would have never thought of. So
Right.
it's connecting me with other event planners and other foundations that are doing great things in the country too, and all over.
Well, you guys deserve all the attention and more. Okay, last question. What are you guys planning, if you have thought about it, for 2021? Are you going to try and go live? Are you going to do virtual again? What are you planning?
So we actually made the decision about a month ago to do all of our events in 2021 virtual. So that will be our gala, our kids chef event, our triathlon, and those are the three big ones that we'll be doing all virtual. We already have plans in place. Our committee is already like starting meetings for our gala. So we actually have a gala in North Carolina and Minnesota usually, and so we'll be combining those next year and making one large gala. So it's going to be really fun to combine North Carolina and Minnesota together and
Yeah.
just put those committees together and have fun with it. And I mean, just make it even better.
Well, I applaud you for making the decision early. I'm working with a ton of people right now who are planning events for May, and they're in the process of planning two galas, a live and a virtual simultaneously, which is essentially double the work.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, when do you think live events are going to come back? I actually think it's going to be 2022 or
Mm-hmm.
later. And I applaud you for making the decision and going forward with it and really trying to make it the best that it could be. And by the way, if last year was so amazing, I cannot wait to see what um 2021 holds
Thank you.
for you guys. It's going to be incredible. So again, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. It's free and it's easy. And any questions you have for Amy, you don't have to email her. Leave them down in the comments and we'll try to get Amy to answer some questions as they come up. But I'm going to review your 2021 gala in whatever, 8 months, and I can't wait to see it. And Amy, thank you so much, and give my best to your committee and your team. And tell them, uh, I don't know, I think your video has like 3,000 views, like 3,000 people agree that your
Awesome. Thank you
video
so
rocked.
much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.